Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Pam here, also with Ted and Lolly of course, and we are at Dunstaffnage Castle, just 3 miles outside Oban, ideal for a day out if you're staying around the area. And we're going to explore the grounds and the chapel first, and then take a tour of the actual castle. So there's a fairly decent sized car park, and it's off a little industrial estate. So you may think that you're lost, but no, carry on through the industrial estate and you get to the car park. It's a historic Scotland property, so there is a charge to go and look around the actual castle, although you can wander around the grounds. So it's not far up to the chapel. Obviously it's a ruin, and we're going to take a look around it now. So apparently the Dunstaffnage Chapel was one of the finest chapels of its time, although it had no burial rights conferred upon it, which meant that the early inhabitants of the castle would likely have been buried on the Isle of Lismore. So that is the part here just behind us. So when you leave the chapel, there's a path to follow, and it brings you out next to the castle, and where those remains are the old stables. And outside the entrance you have a cannon. And the castle itself is built upon a piece of conglomerate rock, and that apparently is some 400 million years old. And yes, so here's our first hurdle. The dogs have seen what they've now got to climb, and these are actually very, very steep. I'm glad they've got a handrail. And here's the entrance doors, and it gets really windy once you get up here, so sorry for the wind noise. And we're just walking up into the courtyard, and let me tell you a little bit about Dunstaffnage, which was built by Duncan MacDougall. He built this fortress as a statement of his status as the Lord of Lorne, and it is in fact one of Scotland's oldest castles, built between 1200 and 1220, and it stands to guard the entrance to Loch Etive. Come on then. And we have more steps. So this is the gatehouse, and if we go up the steps we can actually go and walk around this castle. Part of it is in a condition that allows us to go in. And up the steps, and we come into the first entrance, which apparently would have been the captain's quarters. The captain was the person that looked after the castle in the absence of its owner. Made sure it didn't get run down, overtaken, etc. Big huge fireplace here. And they have got some items around which are for the children, like a big giant snakes and ladders on the floor, and some building blocks and things, obviously so that when parents are walking around, it keeps the kids occupied. Go up the steps. Ooh. There we go. And now we have to go up some more steps. These are rather dark, so yeah, dogs are not great fans of this. But here we go. We come out now into what would have been, I think, the Great Hall. And this was part of the original castle where the Lords of Lorne would have sat in judgment during the day, and he would have held banquets during the evening. And we have a door here in this room to go out onto the roof walkway, so we'll go out there next. And you get a good view of the castle from up here. There is some restoration work going on over on the one tower. They're putting a new staircase for people to be able to access it, so that's out of bounds at the moment. But you can still walk around the walkway, which we'll do. I'll hover over this so that if you want to stop the video and pause it and zoom in, you can read what it says. Apparently the castle was built from local sandstone, and its shape was dictated by that piece of conglomerate rock that it actually sits on. In 1247 the castle passed to Duncan MacDougall's son, who was called Ewan, and upon inheriting the castle he decided to build 3 further towers. The tower right next to the Great Hall was a fortified keep, and the other towers added in around 1250 were to provide Lord Lorne with extra rooms, more cosy accommodation, and also it gave the archers a strong defensive position during any conflicts. And from the historical records, Dunstaffnage saw its fair share of conflicts. In 1308, Robert the Bruce defeated Clan MacDougall in a battle at the Pass of Brander, and he then laid siege to the castle. Once captured, he didn't destroy the castle, instead he appointed a constable to care for it and to guard the castle and the countryside and seaways of Loch Etive. And as a royal property, it was then controlled by a series of keepers until James I seized the castle in 1431. So now we're on the top floor. You just look around, quite an impressive ceiling. But I've now got to go back down those stairs with the dogs. Fun. So now we're wandering around the outside of the castle. And after James I seized the castle, in 1470, James III granted the castle to the Campbell clan. That wasn't the end of its troubles, though. Dunstaffnage saw action during the Civil War, holding out after an attack by Montrose's army in 1644. And it was burned by the Royalist troops in 1685, and also occupied by government troops in the Jacobite risings of both 1715 and 1745. Now, please comment, but to me, that looks like a dog's face set up on the wall. Tell me in the comments what you see. And that's actually Ted making that noise. He doesn't seem to like it in this part of the castle. I've only really had that on 1 or 2 occasions when we've been places, because he never barks. He doesn't really make much noise at all. So here we've got the old well, and when we go up the next tower, I'll see if I can get a better photo looking down on it. Anyway, the Campbell clan, they added a new gatehouse in 1725, and in 1746 Flora MacDonald, who was famous for helping Bonnie Prince Charlie escape, well, she was held prisoner here pending her travel to England for trial. Unfortunately, an accidental fire gutted that gatehouse in 1810. The restoration work that was undertaken in 1903, and in 1958 the property was handed into state care. So I hope you've enjoyed my little tour of Dunstaffnage Castle. It's not a professional tour, it's me and the dogs walking around and just showing you what we see. If you haven't already seen it, there's a part 1 to this video, which was my first couple of days in Oban. And next time we are going to be visiting Bon or Iron Furnace, and that was really quite interesting too. So please give us a like, share the video with your friends and family, and if you're not already subscribed, then just click the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Bye.